Good morning, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale. We have a special update for you guys. Today's date is September 12th of 2018. USDA gave us their monthly supply demand report here today. This, of course, updates all numbers on old crop as well as new crop revisions, and certainly for the trade's focus, some new numbers as far as yield and production for corn and soybeans. Now, before we get into the numbers, let's also put a little context to these numbers here today and why markets are maybe not trading exactly like you would expect from the report itself. As far as one big story here out this morning before the report was word from the Wall Street Journal that perhaps U.S. negotiators or U.S. officials have asked for another meeting with China. This certainly is a positive story for soybeans and does help mitigate some of the bearish news seen on today's discussion for soybeans. Also, as a reminder, we are officially in September 12th, which means we have ended the old crop marketing year for corn and soybeans, which ended on August 31st. These numbers we see from USDA here today, these are not the full official end of year all done numbers for the old crop marketing year. We're still waiting on some further data before we get that in hand here. And USDA will weigh in on this on September 28th in the next quarterly grain stocks report. This one is important for us on corn and soybeans because this is the official revision to old crop corn and soybean numbers as of, in this case, August 31st. Now, as far as the overall report for USDA, maybe a few surprises in store here. On the old crop side for corn, USDA did recognize some stronger demand here for the old crop numbers, which have been confirmed. And it looks like we're seeing the ending stocks down from 2.027 billion bushels to 2.002 billion bushels. So that's the starting point for us, a little better old crop situation on corn. That was certainly more than overshadowed, though, by the bearish numbers on the new crop side. We saw yields increase from 178.4 in August to now 181.3 bushels an acre here in September. This is a big deal because this yield number was far higher than any of the other trade estimates. So it was a bearish surprise for us on this one. And of course, this is still a new record, simply a new record in this case. So we had a 241 million bushel increase for for supply, but a large part of that was offset with demand. The total increase for ending stocks in this case was only about 90 million bushels. So we saw ending stocks go from 1.684 billion bushels to now 1.774. Bearish report, no doubt. Important to note here, market is seeing some lower pricing as far as these numbers on the U.S. end. As far as the world side, no major changes to speak of as far as the world stocks numbers here. We went from 155 million tons for USDA's estimate on new crop stocks to now 157 million tons. No major changes for the non-U.S. numbers there. For soybeans, this report, like I mentioned before, the numbers are bearish, but the market reaction is a little positive as we're speaking right now. In terms of the old crop situation on soybeans, we did see stocks revised down from 430 million bushels to now 395 million bushels. So a little positive on that side. USDA did increase both exports and crush. As far as the new crop side, well, we did all expect an increase in the yields. That was respected here. USDA increased them from 51.6 bushels an acre to now 52.8 bushels an acre. And this was an increase as far as production of about 107 million bushels. And also different than corn on this portion of the subject, not much of that was offset with higher demand. So bottom line for new crop ending stocks, they went from 785 million bushels to now 845 million bushels. So definitely as far as soybean numbers, these were some bearish numbers to speak of as far as the overall issues. As a reminder though, compared with the trade expectation, not really that bearish in terms of the actual impact. Over on new crop side, for the world numbers, the trade was looking for any type of reaction from the USDA to recent numbers out of China. For instance, overnight, the Chinese government implied that they would have a good drop in new crop soybean imports based on, of course, the trade issues. In China's viewpoint, they can actually drop a net drop in total soybean usage. We'll see about that, though, and certainly USDA has maybe a little different viewpoint on that subject. As far as Chinese numbers, they simply added maybe 500,000 tons to the production number. They dropped their import number by only 1 million ton to now 94 million tons for the new crop marketing year. Last year, also 94. The Chinese government, in their viewpoint, are at 84 and change. So definitely some big arguments right now. No one as yet is really finding a solid resolution to this issue. As far as wheat numbers, on the U.S. side, actually no changes to speak of as far as stocks for these numbers across the board. Of course, and typical with USDA, no changes on production. USDA will address this issue on the coming small grain summary report, which comes out on the same September 28th day that we also see the next quarterly grain stocks numbers. As far as wheat on the new crop side, well, actually the net implication for USDA was a little bearish. Now, USDA did recognize Australian and Canadian crop problems, dropping their production totals by 2 and 1 million ton respectively. However, that was more than offset by increases for both Russia and Kazakhstan, totaling 4 million tons. So believe it or not, despite the trade's hope and expectation for low wheat production, with problems in the EU and around the world here, USDA actually increased production in this report for the world as a whole, and also increased ending stocks as well. So bottom line from this report, this was certainly a little bearish report for corn. Not troubling so, but certainly a little bearish there. Soybeans, the report was bearish, but expected, and wheat on the new crop side was a little bearish as well. If you have any questions about these reports, how to market crops in this environment, or how to trade in this environment, give Alan a call, 1-800-262-7538.